Today on Filament's Folly, I'm going to show you how to use Rub and Buff to get an aged gold on a 3D print. Also stick around to the end for an important message about the future of this channel. Timestamps and links are below. Let's get started. Here we have a resin print of a Pikachu I sculpted. You can print this in FDM, and I have examples of that later. Before we put the gold Rub and Buff on, we need to paint it black first. I used black spray paint. Let's take a look at the Rub and Buff. Today we're going to be using the gold on the Pikachu. We also have silver here, so don't forget to subscribe for future Pokemon. Now this product called Rub and Buff comes in many colors, but most of them are metal based. Now I've also got a rag here, which we're going to be using to go ahead and polish this on. And I also have a makeup sponge. Now if you really want a smooth application, I suggest using a makeup sponge for everything after your first layer. It really makes things go down really well. So now that our model is prepped for Rub and Buff, let's take a look at a test print that I practiced on earlier. This is an FDM or Ender style print, printed at 0.12 layer height. I didn't sand or fill this, just spray painted it black and then gold Rub and Buff. It came out a lot better than I'd expected it would. The first thing you want to keep in mind is that a little bit of Rub and Buff goes a long way. I like to add a little bit to my palette and then almost dry brush it on using a rag or makeup sponge. You can always add more later, so go slow as to not lose the black in the details. With this first layer of gold, you can really buff it in and not worry about taking off the previous layers. I like to start in the areas that should have more gold fill in them than the detail areas if I can, and then work into the detail areas. The more you put on the rag, the deeper it will get into those details, so be careful. This dries very quickly in the model, so don't be afraid to rotate it as you continue to apply this material. You know you'll have enough gold on it when it looks like you have enough gold on it. This is really a personal preference. For very dense areas of gold, like the face and later on the tail, I like to use my finger and really cake it on. And then I like to come back with either a makeup sponge or a rag and buff it out nicely, very softly. This prevents the new gold from pulling up the old gold layer. I want to thank you for watching all the way to the end, and since you did, go ahead and click that sub button, and while you're down there, click the like button as well. I know these Pokemon have been very popular, and so I've started a Patreon. There is a tier here for early access and another tier for merchants as well. Also, we now have Filament's Folly Facebook group if you want to show off your prints or you just have questions. All the links are below. Happy printing and have a great weekend, guys.